Hey, Dan, can you hear us?
I can now. I can hear you.
Perfect.
Now I'm not hearing you, Candy.
Yeah, sorry. I was letting everybody know that they have to make sure that they turn their mics on in order for you to hear them. So we're going to have to make sure we're really controlling them on this end. But
Oh,
the system will kick off microphones if we get too many of them on. So just making sure that we turn them off when we're done.
Can you
okay. So there's no microphone in the room then.
There are individual microphones for each of us.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
can you hear me now?
That I can hear. Yes.
Airport Commission meeting will come to order. We have roll call
Tom Mikulek,
here.
Frank Inman,
Here.
Clint Newell,
Here.
Steve Skinzik, Dan Sprague,
Here.
Rob Paul, Art Redkay, Rob Levin.
Here.
Hey, Tom, before we jump into the agenda, I'd like to introduce Carly Davis, our new Public Works Staff Assistant. I'm sure some of you heard from her already, but now you have a face to the name. She'll be handling airport issues and transactions.
Thank you, Ryan. Welcome, Carly. Thank you for assuming this position. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, first order of business is to, I think, accept the minutes from our last meeting. I'm sure we've all read them. Could we have a motion to accept?
I move approval.
I- Any discussion about the minutes? Okay, minutes are approved. Next on our business is an informational rendition from Ryan.
Let's back up to item A, and we need to elect a vice chair since this is the first meeting of the new year.
Okay. Clint Newell, you're our vice chair, aren't you?
I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was last year, but
Yeah.
we're,
I have been. I'll put it that way. Yes.
Well, I would suggest that we continue with Clint, and I nominate him as vice chair.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? Clint, would you be willing to accept?
Yeah, it's no problem.
Okay, thank you.
Formalities.
yeah.
All right.
It doesn't.
Okay, now are you ready for some updates?
Yeah, so we have a pretty light agenda today, but it's been a few months since we met, so we wanted to get everybody together and just kind of give some updates. First update is on the fencing project. We do have the contractor under contract. We received material submittals yesterday, so we're reviewing those, and we hope to have the contractor on site mid-March to start the project. We have a cleanup scheduled on March 11th to clean up all the trash along the fence line before the contractor arrives and starts removing the brush. Just as a reminder, we are moving the fence about 15 feet to the east towards the railroad tracks. We surveyed the property line and found that the existing fence was not on property line, so we are going to move it and put it on property line. That the contractor has until the end of May to complete the work. Any questions on the fencing project?
Did we find a place to recycle the old fencing?
That becomes ownership of the contractor as they remove it. And then as far as the airport runway rehabilitation project, just recently last week, The environmental work was done on site. Archaeologist Investigation Northwest was on site. They dug their test holes. Once we get the results and their report, it'll be submitted to the FAA, and that's anticipated to be submitted in March. And once we have the FAA's approval on that report, we can submit the engineering design scope and fee to the FAA for review. And I hope to have that to present to the Airport Commission in April. And the plans are to bid that project next spring. So we can have bids in hand to apply for the FAA grant next spring. Is there questions on the runway rehab?
Maybe it's right in front of me here, but do we go with 75 feet or do we buy into the 100 feet?
That's a good question, and we'll have further discussion once we get into design with Mead and Hunt. The FAA, we met with the FAA last fall, and they will only fund rehabilitation of the center 75 feet. That leaves 12.5 feet on each side of the runway edge. That we'll have to look at how we treat that, how we want to resurface it, leave it as it is, rehabilitate it the same way the runway is being done. I think in the past I sent an image of the Salem Airport where the similar treatment was done. They rehabbed the center section of the runway, and then they slurry sealed the outer edges. So we'll look at options when we get into design and probably bring some cost estimates to the commission to have further discussion on that.
What was your impression of that?
Of the Salem Airport?
Yeah.
I'm looking at it from a satellite image, so
Oh.
I don't have a good feel for it.
Do you know which runway that was? Was it 34 or 31 at Salem?
I don't, Clint. I just looked at it on aerial image because
Okay.
our consultants brought it up during the pre-construction meeting and said this similar treatment has been done elsewhere.
Have to go take a look at that. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. The slurry seal sounds like a good option to me.
Well, I think, we'll discuss it further, but that's kind of the big risk long term. Short term, I could see where that would, be viable. But if you have a runway where eventually your 12 and a half foot edges on each side start to deteriorate in the long term, now you got, a healthy patch in the middle and a deteriorating patch on the edge. I could see where that could become problematic at some point, but
I don't disagree with that.
obviously slurry sealing will prolong that.
Yeah, and we'll, like I said, when we get in our design, we'll put together some options and cost estimates, and we'll present them to the commission for further discussion on, that we might have 3 or 4 options on how we deal with those outer 12.5 feet, and then we'll discuss it.
Yeah, it's probably the runway 1634 that's currently 100 feet wide, because the larger runway is 150 feet wide. They're probably supporting that fully, and then the smaller runway is probably the one that got cut back, I would guess.
It looked very similar to what we're situated with.
Yeah, it is. It's 5146 in length and 100 feet wide, so it's almost identical.
Yeah.
If you pull together these various options, can you find some examples that you could drum up? Because I've seen them before, and when they're let go, they're pretty gnarly. If you cut the corner going off a runway or something like that, and you pick up the gravel, guys like you would be really concerned. So anyway, it'd be nice to have some examples that worked and those who regret it.
Yeah, we can definitely do that.
Any more questions? I have a question. There was mention made in our handouts about a bump in the road that's causes some trouble of some sort. Could you explain that?
I think that was in the minutes from the taxiway A extension, and that was ground out before we released retainage on the project, and the contractor fixed that.
Oh, okay, great.
And it's much better.
Yeah, we appreciate that. It's just a whole bunch better.
Yeah.
That's all I have for project updates. Those are the ones we have in the queue right now. The recent generator project and the taxway extension project have been completed and closed out. I think we're working on the final closeout paperwork with the FAA on the taxiway extension project, so that's at the 99% completion level.
Great. Thank you, Ryan.
Yep.
Yes, thank you.
Is there any more business from the commission? Anything you guys would like to talk about or bring up?
I got a subject if you don't mind.
Oh, please.
Yeah, the taxiway markings, the yellow center line and tie down areas, they're getting pretty bleak. You take a look at it.
The asphalt markings?
Yes.
Okay.
Any other concerns? I have a concern. Some people have asked me if there's a way to go to the airport and have a flyover of Roseburg, maybe go to the coast and back for a fee. Is there such a thing available at our airport?
We don't have any charters right now that are running back and forth over to the coast. No Part 135 operators anyways out of Roseburg.
Okay, thank you.
Not at this time.
Okay, is there any other business you'd like to bring up? Anybody? Before we adjourn?
That's a record, 10 minutes.
Okay, well, we'll call this meeting to a conclusion and meeting adjourned.
Thank you.